Hello to all of you from around the world. I want to thank you for joining us for another great edition of Soulivity today. We're broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. You know me, I'm Brian Westley Johnson. And whether you're at home, driving, or even at work, we are always glad to see you here with us. We have such an amazing show for you today. I want to welcome back Astrologer Coach Sonja Francis. Hey, Sonja, what's going
Hello.
on, girl? Hey, it's Friday. I'm like dancing. Like, I'm so happy I get Fridays. I get like really happy, you know. So
I bet it's
TGIF. Same to you, right? Oh,
absolutely.
man. Well, you know, everyone, since Sonja is here, you know what that means. It's once again a time for Hot Friday Astrology. Whoop, whoop. It's all about giving you even more information to get you empowered and moving toward creating your best life today. And Sonja, you know, as always, we'll also be taking some questions that were submitted to us online later in the show. So you got to stay tuned, everyone. And we may be answering one of your questions. I know, right? This is so good. Sonja, oh man, I'm so happy we're doing this. This is like, every time we do this, it's like exciting news. Like, oh, wow, you know, it's because it's information that most of the time we don't know. And so if we're like planning different things and living our lives and we have questions about, hey, this is kind of strange, you know, something strange is happening, we can get answers to some of those questions and then take action, appropriate action, I should say, based upon like information that you're giving us. So I'm so glad you're here.
You too.
Yeah, you know, speaking of exciting, there's some exciting news in the stars that you're going to be sharing. And that is the fact that it is eclipse season. I wish we had like some trumpets or something like dun, 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 dun. Can you tell us like what does this all kind of mean right now for us?
Yeah. So eclipse season happens twice a year, and it's approximately every 5.5 to 6 months. And eclipses are basically extra powerful full moons and new moons that support our own evolutionary journey on a personal and on a collective level. And the reason for that is that at the time of an eclipse, the sun and the earth and the moon align in such a way that either the sun or the moon are no longer visible or only partially visible. And that creates an energy field. And so what's connected with an eclipse is usually called the moon nodes, which are connected to the moon. And that the moon nodes represent our soul's journey, individually speaking and collectively speaking. And so
Okay.
what needs to be made conscious is connected to the moon nodes, and what needs to be integrated and what needs our attention. And so in astrology, you can see that really well. When you look at the planets, you can see what that will be. So
Interesting.
yeah.
That's cool. Now, are there different kinds of eclipses, right? I mean, I know
Yes.
like scientifically there's sun and lunar. What does that kind of mean for us more broadly speaking?
Right. So there is a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse, and they usually come in pairs. They come together.
Okay.
Usually there's 2, sometimes there can be 3 or even 4, depending on the year. But this time around, there's only going to be 2. The first one will be a lunar eclipse, The second one will be a solar eclipse. Basically, what happens with a lunar eclipse is that we're going to be feeling things will start to come up in terms of things that need to be integrated, and usually within our relationships with other people. Usually eclipses create, because it's an evolutionary thing where we need to move to the next level of our evolution, we're feeling this sense of that something's coming up that feels unexpected, or something that we haven't thought of before that's coming up. And so we'll be feeling that between now and April 18th. There will be this sense of like unexpected stuff coming up. And it's important to remember that eclipses are connected to our soul's evolution. So whatever is happening over the next 4 to 5 weeks is something that's in our own best interest. So if something happens that you feel like feels a little bit out of control, or if something unexpected that you weren't planning on, just go with it. Allow that, stay in the flow of that, what's happening, so that you can learn something and move to that next level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And before we get into like some details around these eclipses, what it feels like is that for many people, maybe they're feeling drawn to some kind of growth opportunity, right? That they're being drawn into it, or if something is happening out in the world, maybe they're feeling more peaceful about it than maybe they felt before. Maybe because that's what they're supposed to be doing. So maybe there's some kind of strange love happening, and people are kind of trying to figure out why is that why am I feeling this way right now, or what's going on. This is what's happening right now, right? There's this
So if you're feeling any kind of unexpected things internally or externally happening, then just know that it's meant to be this way, because we're needing to recalibrate. There's sort of like a sense of things, there's downloads coming in, energetically speaking, that are helping us recalibrate to the next level of our consciousness.
Wow. So again, this is important it's funny how the universe and how it maps to everything that's happening in the stars, because last month you were talking about, listen, these things are happening. This is the time to set intentions, right? Set intentions for your life, because this is like a follow on to that, right? Where it's like, okay, I've set some intentions, and now I'm getting information and I'm being led in a way to help me grow. That's kind of what I'm hearing you say more broadly. I mean, listen, I know enough of this stuff to be dangerous, but but do I get it? Have I gotten it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that the eclipses are sort of like supporting us in shifting something in our lives that's been needed to be shifted for a while, but we didn't have the resources or the juice or the energy to do it. And now with the eclipse coming, it really helps us to turn that corner, or to go to that next level, if that makes sense.
Okay. Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So we've got this eclipse season. There's going to be 2 eclipses. So let's kind of talk a little bit about these eclipses and what they mean. Maybe we'll get to the first one before we go to break, and then we'll come back. So tell us about the eclipses in general, like, in terms of like the more scientific pieces of this, so that we can kind of understand what's happening.
Yes. So the first eclipse will be exact on March 25th at 12 a.m. Pacific time, 3 a.m. New York time, and 7 a.m. London time. And this eclipse will be a south node lunar eclipse in Libra. And so it's very much connected to relationships, and south node eclipses invite us to let go of old behaviors or things that are no longer working for us within our relationships with other people. So if you have a relationship in your life where you feel like this is not working for you. It doesn't feel like you're able to really have a collaborative spirit with that person, then that might be a relationship you might want to let go of, or you need to talk about what's not working in the relationship and let the other person know, so that you can start to recalibrate the relationship or get to a next level in the relationship. So these are some things that we can do with this particular eclipse, and there's obviously so much more to talk about.
Right.
I wrote a whole article on it, and I recorded a video on it. So there's a lot that goes into really interpreting these things.
Right. And you're gonna be having a forecasting forum on March 22nd that goes even deeper on this. We'll give people some information about that later on in the show as well. Quick question about this in terms of like, because I think when people hear the word relationship, right, they go immediately to only relationships with other people. But that's not what you're saying, right? I mean, it includes that, but it could be relationships with your work, relationships with like anything where you're connected to and how you're relating to it. Am I right about that?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
I mean,
excellent.
it definitely is one-on-one relationships, but it's also how you're relating to life in terms of what's your balance, what's the balance
Right.
in life that you are able to create in terms of like home and career, or
Gotcha.
your health, and being able to take time out and not do anything, being and doing, where do you have a relationship with yourself or with other people where things are out of balance? These are some things we need to be more
Mm,
conscious about, more aware about, and also our healing journey. It's a lot
right.
about our healing journey as well, in terms of like who we are as human beings, because we're learning right now that we are not, we are fallible. Like there are things about us that we have limitations, we have insecurities and sensitivities, and we need to learn about these things for ourselves. We need to make these things conscious for ourselves, but we also need to acknowledge that other people have it too. And so to
Right.
create a relationship with other people where we allow people to heal and to sort of connect with other people more from a compassionate place as well.
Wow, I love that. I love that. I love that. Wow, that's so like interesting because I think that people don't really realize that all of their relationships, may it be one-on-one or with themselves or whatever, that all that has to evolve, right? And that people come and go, experiences come and go, and that change is just part of life, and that we don't have to fear it, that we can embrace it, and all the new opportunities for growth that come with it. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. Okay, so it's eclipse season. We've got information on the first eclipse, but we're going to take a quick break, everybody. And so when we come back, we'll talk more about the second eclipse and what that means in our lives with Sonja Francis on a Hot Friday astrology show in just a minute.
Do you see me kneeling on this dual roller called Parasetter? It's actually comfortable because of this channel and the softness of the special foam. It feels like my kneecaps are being massaged. When I lie down, my spine is housed in this channel, while the convex rollers massage my muscles. They let go and lengthen. There's a traction effect from my head on the headrest and my mid-back from the rib wrap, which hugs me. When I start the breathing sequence, I feel calm because my cortisol levels are dropping. Lower cortisol means bye-bye constant hunger. Parasetter is 40 inches long and much more comfortable than old style rollers, but it weighs only 10 ounces. Parasetter, just like Pilates was, is no longer an insider secret. Do yourself a favor. Reset your parasympathetic nervous system. Defeat stress. Lying, sitting, kneeling, or standing. This unique patented roller helps everyone.
Join us every weekday at 8 a.m. for Soulivity Today.
Whether you're just starting your day or on the road,
Soulivity Today will make your days better.
We will empower you with authentic conversation about the latest news and trending topics. Plus, you won't want to miss our interviews with industry experts.
so sit back, relax, and get ready for a whole lot of fun.
Soulivity Today, weekdays at 8 a.m. only on KMET 1490 AM radio and ABC News affiliate. Hello there. We're back here with more on Soulivity Today for a hot Friday astrology show. And back with us is Astrologer Coach Sonja Francis. All right, Sonja. So we know that it's eclipse season. And we talked about the first eclipse that's going to be happening. So tell us a little bit about the second eclipse, which is as important as the first.
Yes. So the second eclipse will be on April 8th, 2 weeks later, and it will be in Aries, and it will be a North Node eclipse. And those eclipses usually invite us to focus on the energy of the eclipse so that we can become better at this energy. And Aries, of course, is about finding a healthy relationship with ourselves. One that we can create things in our lives that we feel in alignment with, things that we feel passionate about. We want to feel enthusiastic about life. And we don't want to feel divorced from our feelings, or we don't want to feel divorced from our pursuits, from our actions, it's a very masculine sign in the sense that it wants to go after things.
Okay.
And it's much about our persona. And so this eclipse invites us to really focus on what's going on here versus what's going on out there.
Wow. So these two eclipses that are happening almost back to back are really grounded in what you were saying before, and this evolution of not only our relationships, that in terms of this energy, this connective energy, right, that we have with people and circumstances, but also the next one is about evolution within. What's the connection within? How do we want to show up, right? I love that. Oh man, that's so cool. That's so cool. Wow.
And I will actually do a video on the solar eclipse, and people can watch that for free on my YouTube channel or on my website if they're interested. And actually, I will post it on the Soulivity channel as well on your website.
Okay. So just to kind of go over this again so that people understand. So the first eclipse of the eclipse season is a full moon lunar eclipse in Libra. And that will be exact on March 25th at 12 midnight Pacific time, 3 a.m. Eastern time, and 7 a.m. in London. So everybody out in London, you'll wake up to. You'll wake up to that part. And then the second eclipse. Go ahead.
Eclipse will be visible in North and South America. You can actually see it. So if you want to midnight, or if you want to get up at 3 a.m. Your time, then you can actually see that the Earth will that the Earth and the Moon will sort of will cover.
And so we'll see the moon kind of get darkened, and then it'll get brightened again.
It's not going to be a total lunar eclipse. It's not going to be a total lunar eclipse where it will be completely covered, but you will see the shadow. You will see a shadow going over the moon.
Right. And then, like you said too, the second eclipse, these are both lunar eclipses, right? Or is it there's a lunar and then a solar?
Solar eclipse.
Solar eclipse. Okay. And this is in Aries. which will be
Yes.
exact on April 8th. And this is interesting, at 11:21 a.m. Pacific, 2:21 p.m. Eastern, and then 7:21 p.m. London time. Will that one be
Correct.
will that one be visible in, I mean, do you know where
Yes.
that one will be visible? Okay.
Yes, it actually will be visible in Central America. There will be a slice that goes through Central America where you can I will talk a little bit about that also in my video, so you can have the exact locations. I don't have them written down right now, but I know that there's a sliver that goes through Middle America to the east, towards the northeast.
Wow. And so, broadly speaking, we're going to go deep into like what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing in a minute. But during
Yes.
this time in total, right, we shouldn't jump the gun for anything in the next 5 weeks. So
if you can
if you
help
feel, yeah, if you can help
if you
it,
can help it, go with the flow. Go with the flow if you can help it. The thing is, people might want to jump the gun because they might feel a little anxious, and because what they're feeling is they're feeling the downloads, and they're feeling the recalibration of your own emotional and physical body, and so that
Mhm.
creates sometimes anxiety because you don't know what's happening, you don't know what's going
Right.
on. I always like to compare it with like restarting your computer. You know, when you restart your computer, you have to be patient and you have to wait a little bit for it to come back on. You don't want to start, smashing the computer while it's restarting. You want to wait and give it a moment, right? And of course, some of us get impatient. So
Right.
if you can just take a bunch of deep breaths and just know, okay, I'm just rebooting my system, basically. This is what eclipses
Right.
are for. You're rebooting your energy system, your physical, emotional energy system. So when it comes back up after eclipse season is over, you're going to be much more grounded and centered and capable of making sound decisions.
Right.
That makes sense?
Right. Absolutely. I like that, because I think, it's like food and drink sometimes, where we're told, drink water on a consistent basis. But a lot of times we confuse hunger with thirst. And so it's like, no, right now, it's time for you to lay back and let yourself kind of go with the flow. Don't make any really like compulsive decisions and that kind of thing. That's not what
Compulsive
this
is
time.
the word, right?
Okay.
Yeah, compulsive
Perfect.
is the word. If something happens organically, if something's unfolding organically, let it happen. But if you're trying to push, or if you're trying to, shift things because you're feeling anxious, or you wanna do something because you feel out of sorts or whatever, then
Mhm.
just lean back. Lay
Lean
back and
back.
just let it unfold.
I think that's a song,
Mhm.
isn't it? Let's lean back. So get that song, everybody. Lean back. Just,
If it's not, it should be.
exactly. So listen, we're going to find out from
Mhm.
you in our next segment about what we should be doing specifically or not doing, and what signs are going to really feel this. Everybody's going to feel this time, but which signs are really going to be feeling it more than others? So listen, everybody, we're going to take this quick break, and we'll be back with more of Soulivity today and Sonja Francis in just a second. Hi there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Soulivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoyed the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life. Learn more about the Aspire Academy by visiting aspire.soulivity.com. That's aspire.soulivity.com. Well, hello there, and welcome back to Soulivity Today for a Hot Friday astrology show. And back with us again is Astrologer Coach Sonja Francis. We are talking about it's eclipse season, and this is fantastic news. Because I know a lot of people may be thinking, Sonja, that they may confuse this this energy, this anxious energy, with doing something like we were talking this about before, and I just lost my thought about what the word that we were using before. Not compelled,
Don't jump the gun.
Yeah, just don't jump the gun. This is not a time to jump the gun. And so if you're feeling this energy and this kind of nervous energy or anxious energy, that does not mean that you're supposed to just run out and do something. Lay back. We're saying lay back, chill out, relax, and just go with the flow right now of what you're being led to do. Right. Part of this is that we know broadly this information, but let's go a little deeper into answering the question, what is this a good time to do or not do first? And so we know we're supposed to lay back, but what does that mean exactly?
So basically, it's a time where we want to allow for new templates to download, to stay centered, and do our best to ground from within. And it's important to do some conscious breathing to stay flexible. And also, if you can, as much as you can, go into the observer position when something emotional comes up, or when your mind starts to, freak out for some reason. Go into the observer. And just know that the next couple of weeks, there's something that needs a breakthrough, or something needs to shift for you. And this is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And so we're all kind of invited to learn a little bit more how to become more conscious and more mindful in how we live and how we create our own lives, and the choices that we're making. On a personal level, and also on a collective, how we deal with the collective experience. And just trust that whatever is leaving is making space for something better, and also trust that whatever is coming in for you to learn and experience something even better in your life. And I think that the more willing we are to accept change and allow these shifts to take place, the easier this will be, right? This phase.
Wow.
Able, I take.
So as you're talking, I'm feeling that this time doesn't mean that nothing's going to happen.
No,
that's not what you're saying, right?
Right. The opposite.
There will,
a lot can happen. A lot can happen.
Right. Right. So but our reaction to things that are going on, we're supposed to lay back and allow the universe let the universe kind of take the reins right now, right?
Yeah. And to
And
allow
then
things to be organic, right? To not be the one who goes, no, I don't want it like this, I want it like that, to just trust life, basically.
right, which goes again with what you said a few weeks ago, which is what is our intention, right? What's our intentions for our life, for our world, for our relationships, and this kind of thing, and that the universe has heard this. And now it's the universe's time to take the reins and say, listen, I'm going to bring to you what you need to keep evolving. You don't need to do anything right now, right? Unless I say you need to do this, and organically you flow into taking action, not, oh, I gotta change this, and this person said this, and so I'm just gonna go over here and say this stuff back. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm just going to do this action, right? And be a little rambunctious. This is not time to be rambunctious. And so, okay, I got it. Just want to kind of reiterate something you said earlier, and that is, this is really a beautiful time for a lot of meditation, a lot of mindfulness kinds of things that keep you kind of grounded in your spirit, right? So that you can relax a little bit more. Maybe this is also, yeah. Go ahead.
Especially 48 hours before and after an eclipse. So 48 hours before March 25th and after, and 48 hours before and after April 8th. These are great times to just allow yourself to take in the energy, do a lot of releasing or meditation or, walks in nature, like really tune into the energy that's moving through you at that time.
Wow. My guess is too that this is a great time to have gratitude and thankfulness. I know that for me, that is a fantastic way of staying peaceful when there's the perceived perception of chaos, right, or anxiousness. That getting into that thankful and that state of gratitude, that just brings you back home and keeps you in the present moment, because that's also important, right?
Very important to stay grounded, very important to stay in the present. Absolutely. Like often the mind, right, has a tendency to go into the future or into the past with things.
Mm-hmm.
The mind always wants to problem solve and wants to figure things out. And
Yeah.
so you cannot problem solve in the present moment. You have to sort of like, in order to problem solve, you either have to go into the past to prevent things from happening again that already happened, or you have to go into the future to prevent things from happening that you think might happen in the future, right? So being present is very important because you calm the mind down by being present. The mind doesn't get to, there's no juiciness in the present moment because there are no problems in the present moment. Problems only exist in the past and in the future, right? So
right.
really getting ourselves to be grounded in the here and now, that helps the mind to calm down. It helps us to be more in touch with what's actually going on around us and to allow things to unfold a little bit more and to stay more in the organic flow of life rather than, doing things frantically that, are not really in our best interest.
I like that. We're not supposed to be frantic people. We're not supposed to be frantic. Now, the other half of this is, though everyone's going to be affected by this, and everyone should be taking note of this because of how astrology works in our universe, and we're all born at different times, and our readings are all different. Because of that, there are certain signs that are going to be more affected, like the energy is going to be more robust for them than other signs. So for the first eclipse, what signs are going to be like, okay, what's going on here?
So I would say anybody who has a Leo or Cancer moon sign or rising sign, they're going to be actually impacted by both eclipses, because the moon and the sun are the rulers of Leo and Cancer. And the moon and
Okay.
the sun, of course, are highly impacted by an eclipse, because that's part of the eclipse is the full moon and the new moon. And so because of that, anybody who's got a moon sign or sun sign or rising sign in Leo or Cancer will feel any eclipse much stronger. The lunar eclipse that we have on March 25th, anybody who has Aries or Libra sun sign, moon sign, or rising sign will definitely feel the impact of the lunar eclipse on March 25th. And because the solar eclipse is in Aries, anybody with Aries sun sign, rising sign, or moon sign will be impacted by this eclipse in a quite strong way.
Wow.
Especially
So they're
early degree.
so they're going to feel it. So they're going to really feel, feel the heat of these times. Okay. So to that point, those signs specifically, people who have those specific signs in their charts, really, really, really need to take heed around getting into their spirit through meditation and mindfulness kind of techniques and that kind of deal, to kind of slow maybe the chatter that's going on in their minds around, oh, what's going on? Because this time might kind of activate your flight or fight, right? Kind of mechanism. And so you got to quiet that down.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It might be some survival strategies that might come up, if you're really impacted by this. And the truth is that we all have our survival strategies, and everybody deals with them as best as they can. But
Right.
it's a good idea to be aware of what comes up. Right? It's a good idea to be aware of how am I interacting with this energy that's currently moving through.
Wow. And I'll say this too, that regardless of the timing and what's happening in our astrology charts and what's happening in the stars and the universe in terms of how things are shifting around, something that you've always said, Sonja, and that is, like, having a regular mindfulness and meditation practice keeps you grounded, so that you're more in tuned, so that you'll start feeling these things. Like, for me, it's no surprise, because I've been feeling this energy, and it's been like really, really calm, right? Like very peaceful. And that when things have been going on in my world that may be a little chaotic, the message that I get is just relax.
Back. Yes.
Everything's cool.
Yeah.
There's nothing you need to do.
Yeah.
We got you.
Right.
Just flow. Just flow.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do right now. When you need to take action on something, we'll let you know. Some of that might happen during this period, but we'll let you know. There's nothing you need to do right now.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's really about mind versus heart, right? Because if the mind is what you need to do, then you're always going to come from a more of a survival place. But if you let the heart dictate what actions you want to take, then you're coming more from a place of abundance and open-heartedness.
I'm going to really recommend that people, because Sonja is going into deep in terms of the charts and things like this. Reach out to Sonja and get a reading and get your charts done, so that you can understand more precisely about how all this is affecting you. Information is information. It can't hurt you, right? What will hurt you is if you don't know, right? If you don't have information to help you make decisions about your life and relationships and that kind of thing. So please do so. So, we're going to give Sonja's information in just a second, but, do yourself a favor and do that. So thank you, Sonja, for all this great information today. We had some questions come in. It's a couple of questions that came in from our audience over the last, few weeks. We invite everyone, go to our YouTube, our Facebook group, and join, and you can post some questions on our specific chat around astrology, or you can email us at soulivity@soulivity.com, and we'll answer those questions that come in. If we don't get to a question today, we'll answer it next time. So everybody gets their questions answered. I love these, Sonja, because they're like very practical ones. And so and they're like,
Right.
okay, so the first one is, does astrology predict the future? Really practical question,
Oh,
right?
great
I mean,
question. Well, I would say this. I mean, astrology can show us how energy lines up, and it can show us like when is a great time to start something, when is a great time to lean back. I wouldn't say that it predicts the future necessarily in the sense that, I can't say who's going to win elections at the end of the year, for example.
right,
I can make a good guess, but I can't, I can't predict in that
right,
sense, right?
right,
But I would definitely say that you get a general sense with astrology what's needed energetically speaking, and so you can make decisions more easily when you understand when is a good time for what
right,
energetically.
right. I was gonna say, because what I get from you a lot of times is, okay, here is what's happening energetically throughout the year, right? So if you've been feeling that you want to have a relationship, or you've been longing for a relationship with someone, you're going to tell that person, these are the times that are really good to do that, right?
Right.
And or here are the really good times to work on yourself that later down the road you'll attract to yourself that person, right? Not,
Right.
oh, you're going to meet this person on July the 5th in a restaurant.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the difference, because everyone has free will. That's the other thing we have to
Right,
remember. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm just allowing you to make better decisions by letting you know what's possible, what the
right,
energies are doing, and then you can make an informed decision by knowing that.
right. And to be clear, just to put some factual information on this, astrology has been used with ancient civilizations for how long? Like forever?
3,000 years. 3,000
And
years.
yeah, so this isn't something that is like, woo woo and like, oh well, it's not scientific and all this kind of stuff. No, the people have been using this for a long time. And so,
Yeah.
just understand that part too. Here's another really practical question. Something that I kind of think about from time to time, and I asked you this about certain things around this before, but this is a little deeper. What are retrogrades? Are they all the same? I mean, I think I know the answer to the second part, but but go ahead.
Great question. Yes. So retrograde phases, basically, they are times when we need to go within and when we need to connect more to the energy of a particular planet that is going retrograde from the inside out. So it's a feminine process in a way. And most planets do have retrogrades. The only celestial bodies that don't go retrograde are the sun and the moon. They will
Okay.
never have a retrograde phase. But all other planets like Venus, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Chiron, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, they all have their retrograde phases every year,
Okay.
or almost every year. So, for example, we have a Mercury retrograde coming up on April 1st, and
Okay.
that It goes retrograde 3 times per year because that
Okay.
planet moves very fast. So it goes back and forth 3 times a year. And that's the planet connected to our thinking, to our mind, processing information. And the reason why we need these retrograde phases that often is because the mind goes all the time. I mean, our minds are on, unless we're asleep,
Right.
our minds are going blah, 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 blah. So we need time to process all that information that we're taking on. I mean, especially these days with all the information we get online and through, social media and TV and radio and everything that's out there, podcasts,
Gotcha.
there's so much information coming in that we need that time to process. And that happens 3 to 4 times a year. We get that ability to just process through stuff that's been going on.
As you were talking about this, Sonja, it just makes so much more sense that the universe is telling us during these eclipses, don't jump the gun, don't go out here and be rambunctious, don't allow yourself to be compelled to do something. Just relax, because I think you've said this before, like retrogrades come in a wave, right? So they build and build and build, and then they kind of drop off. Well, if we're all in our head during this, if all this energy is in our mind and we're trying to like do this stuff, we have to relax. We've got to do things to relax and
Right.
quiet that mind and that kind of thing. So it makes perfect sense that all these things are happening in conjunctively, where it's like, no, this is a beautiful time to allow yourself to have some peace, right?
Yeah.
That you don't need to right.
It might be challenging for some people to really
Oh,
get to
yeah.
that peace because
Yeah.
Mercury will be in Aries. So there's a wanting to, move things forward. So we need to allow ourselves to process what we've already worked on, what we've already done the last 3 months.
Right.
Process that so that we can move forward, stronger and with more zest,
Wow. Well, I'm loving all of this. I'm
Yeah.
loving all of it. I mean, because these are special times, right? I mean, I think a lot of times we think that our growth comes from doing like action, like where we can see it, we can feel it, we can we're out here like working out or whatever it is, right? And that's where the change comes. But that's not true.
Yeah.
The change actually comes when we're at rest. So like when you're working out and you're doing things, that's an action that you need to do to help your body, feel better and you're more fit. But the actual evolutionary change where you actually see it in your body comes when you're resting. Your body has to rebuild, like the muscle and your cardiovascular system has to now realign to a new normal, right? Which is good for like blood flow and cardiac, cardiological kinds of things. So yeah, it happens when you're at rest. So this is a time to kind of chill, right?
Yeah.
And
I mean,
evolve and let yourself evolve.
Too much of anything is not a good thing, right? So
Right.
moderation, including moderation.
Good point.
Like taking action is important, but taking action when we're not knowing why we're taking that action, or when it's not coming from a higher place, when it comes from a survival place, taking action is not useful. But
Right.
able to tune in and have that resting time, we can start to take action from a place that's actually relaxed and peaceful, and those actions will be much more useful.
Absolutely. And speaking of taking action, you have such a fantastic event coming up on March the 22nd on your website,
Yes.
which is this beautiful, wonderful forecasting forum that people can register right now can you tell people about this fantastic thing that's happening?
Absolutely, yes. So this is going to be a 90-minute webinar where we will be talking in more detail about eclipse season and about the Mercury retrograde that's coming up on April 1st. And we will look at our own birth charts in relationship to these subjects. And so you get a chance to ask me questions in connection with your own birth chart. You get a chance to, go a little bit deeper with all this information, and also to see really to see how it's impacting, what area of life is going to be impacted for you personally with everything that's going on for the next 4 to 5 weeks.
Wow.
And
wow.
I
And
should also
yeah, go ahead.
mention the registration for this webinar includes the lunar eclipse video. So if you are not currently a member of my online community, you won't have access to that video. But if you register for the webinar, you get automatic access to that video as well.
Wow. And so people can sign up and register for this next forecasting forum by visiting your website at astrologercoach.com. That's astrologercoach.com. Also, just sign up for, her universal membership that's there. It is fantastic. You get a lot of content. You got to get a lot of things from Sonja, a lot of information. So go do that today. Go do that today, everybody. Sonja, thank you for being here. It always seems so quick. I say that every show, but, it is true. It feels that way for me.
It does go quite fast.
I can't wait for our next show. Maybe we'll have to have more of these, because I'm missing all this information and seeing your face, so maybe we'll have to do more of these.
All right.
Oh,
well,
man.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So listen, again, everybody, go see Sonja at astrologercoach.com today. Sonja, thank you for being here. Listen, we're running out of time. I just want to say thanks to all of you for being here for another Soulivity today. This is how we do it Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern for all of our people on the East Coast, and where we're streaming live on all of our Soulivity TV channels. Or you can watch or listen to us on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. Until next time, this is Brian Westley Johnson on behalf of all of us saying, keep working your passion and purpose, because you are going to create your best life today sooner than later. So we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.